This is a Blairing Out with Eric Blair show, and tonight we're here at the premiere for the movie Lemmy, a documentary about one of the hardest working men in rock and roll, Lemmy, a Motorhead. Steve, now this is a real honor, my friend.
Thank you.
Tell me about your first introduction to Lemmy and how he impacted your life.
Well, when I was younger, and I was a teenager in the '70s, I was listening to all this progressive music because I kind of like got that kind of taste, you know. But the thing that always touched me about various bands was the authenticity in them and the sincerity, regardless of the genre. So when I moved out to California in 1980, and I was exploring music, that's when I discovered the band. And it always had an impact on me. It was always just something very integral about it. And, Lemmy was always this sort of like iconic figure. And met him a few times, and he was obviously a really nice guy, wonderful guy, actually. He was Lemmy. And then one time I met him at the Rainbow, and I just walked up to him. I said, "Hey, when are you going to have me play on the one of your records?" And he goes, "I'll see you Monday." And that was it. And we had a great time. It was really great working with him.
That's incredible. What do you think is important about this Lemmy movie being made?
Well, I think that young musicians who are interested in making a career in this business will see somebody that's totally committed. Lemmy is extremely confident in what he does, and he's very committed, and he's one of those artists that just doesn't have a choice. They are what they are, and they do it with no excuses. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that music, what he's doing, but the message is find the thing that's natural to you and then be it. And that's, I think, a great message,
Technically, when I talk about his playing, technically, what do you feel that fans can take away from Lemmy's style of bass playing?
It's like gas on fire, man. His bass playing is, it's not like your conventional kind of smooth, round-ended bass playing. It's got hair and testosterone, It blows up, and I mean, what kids could take away from his playing, I mean, he's obviously a solid player, but his sound is as visceral as his confidence,
Now, Steve, what's next for you?
Well, I'm in the studio right now working on a new record, and I'll be out on tour probably in around August in America, and then a world tour.
Now, you toured with Zappa Plays Zappa for a short time.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was great. It was a little bit terrifying, having to learn all that music again. Back then I had a lot of time to just, meditate on crazy guitar parts. But luckily I wasn't playing a whole show. I was just doing about 3 or 4 tracks. But it was really great. It was really nice. Those kinds of things are like vacations for me in a way. I just recently did a Hendrix Experience tour, and it was really great, really great.
Now, it's in mythology of rock and roll. It's been said that you were one of Dweezil's teachers, guitar teachers. Is this true?
Well, when Dweezil started playing, Frank asked me, "Can you show him a few things?" Nice. I said, "Sure, yeah." And at first, when Dweezil put his hands on the instrument, I was like, "Oh my God, what am I going to tell Frank? This kid can't play a note." But he was one of the most remarkable people I know because he could absorb stuff and instantaneously. And I would just give him stuff, give him music, played him brought him Yngwie records and some Van Halen and stuff like that. And he just exploded. I came back one week and he's connecting, and I just showed him some, kept him from getting into some, bad habits.
Now, touring with him and the Zappa Plays Zappa, did you see any of Frank when you were on stage with him?
Oh my God, are you kidding? He looks like Frank. He has Frank's mannerisms. He could pantomime Frank's playing, It was really great.
Steve, what about a supergroup for you? What about putting together a supergroup? I mean, I know you did that one time years ago in the early 90s, but I mean, what about putting another supergroup together?
Well, I've contemplated it and I've had offers, but, I've been in supergroups, and they've been a lot of fun, but, I have a particular vision for my music. And it's the kind of thing where, I don't want it to be diluted at all by anybody. And that's good and that's fine. And, but I do also like the idea of being in a group with a bunch of guys whose contributions are instantly accepted, But it has to be the right thing, There has to be and I'm not going out and looking for it. But I think if the right situation came, I would consider it.
Now, one last question. There's also in rock and roll mythology, it's said that when David Coverdale asked you to join Whitesnake, he said, "Will you join Whitesnake?" And you said, "For $1 million." And he said, "I'll get back to you."
I know there's a lot of rumors. No, that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
I wouldn't have joined the band unless I really liked the music, And at that time, Whitesnake was playing some really great rock music, B, I just came out of a band with a lead singer, with Dave Roth, and it was great. Dave Roth was Dave Roth, but I was thinking about my solo work, but I really liked Coverdale. He was a great guy. And it was much more than $1 million.
Steve Vai, thank you. God bless you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
The Blairing Out Show.